Hey, lovely people, a pleasant evening to you. Now, beautiful people, many of you have heard the saying, the grass is not greener on the other side, right? All right, I think a lot of people have misunderstood, or they misunderstand what that saying is really epitomizing, what it is really and truly emitting. It is not on the basis of achieving greatness. That is not why people are saying that. What they're doing is usually as a cautionary method or mechanism or technique when they know that you're doing something that may not be, it may be illicit, it may be corrupt, it may have, the intent may be sinister, the intent may be malevolent, you may be doing wrong. So for example, let us say you're in a marriage, a fair marriage, because no marriage is perfect, even the best marriage, and you're having some difficulties, you know, and you come across a gentleman or a woman, as the case may be, you know, based on your gender. You know, for the woman you come across a man, for the man you come across a woman, and you get involved, and the person love bombs you and they treat you very well and they're very nice. Probably 9.5 out of 10 times, if you leave your spouse for that individual, you end up swapping, jumping out of the frying pan into the raw fire. You burn up before you even properly start. And that is just one example. When they say to you the grass is not greener on the other side, it's not usually when you're making headway for greatness, to become successful, to achieve something that is luxurious. No. It is usually as a precautionary method when you're going to make some choices that could land you a lifetime of hell. A lifetime of hell. Please understand what the saying is. I was listening to a guy when, you know, they said people say the grass is not greener, you know, on the other side, you know, and it's because out of fear base. Maybe you have a small margin, a percentage. For example, if people saying, boy, Jamaica is horrible, Jamaica is terrible, you can't make it financially, so they're going to go to the US. Now, when the people in the US who have experienced a different life in droves come and they say the grass is not necessarily greener, you know, you have to be very careful. That is not really a bad saying, and it doesn't mean that they don't want you to come. People, be careful. You have to be, don't just run with things, because our minds are so saturated with negativity that you feel that everybody has ill mind, that they're bad-minded. They really probably are genuine. I've heard people saying it, and and when they give you their experiences, I never forgot, somebody said to me, and this is, I mean, it's a very genuine person. I know her for years. And she said, Toni-Ann, I made a grave mistake when I came to the United States. You know, I should have gone to, like she said, another first world country. She said, I'm not telling you not to come, but think deeply and carefully. And this is somebody who is educated, you know, fairly educated and whatnot. And I think got a fair, but she's talking about the general experiences. So she's giving me a better alternative. And you know, sometimes you're talking to you and you hear that genuine, sincere, authentic feeling behind it. So stop running with this ideology that just because them don't want you know, become successful, they're not telling you not to come, you know. They're cautioning you and saying, be careful. There is a snake over there, a cobra snake, a rattlesnake. Most people do not like to take telling. They don't like to listen. So what they do, they come with these things, you know, because they want to soothe their consciences. Not everything that you hear on this on social media is factual, you know, and truthful. It will make you believe that something is pink when it is genuinely blue. I think most people, for the most part, they really mean you well when they say, all right, it's not that I'm saying you can't come in, I can't stop you. I'm saying because of experiences that I've had and I've seen others, if you don't have this in place, if the parameter for you is very narrow, you know, don't just make a move like that. Somebody with a more positive experience overall may say differently, but they may guide you and say, still be cautious and be very careful if you're going to jump and make certain kinds of moves. Stop running with the ideology that most people are. It's because they want you to suffer and they want you to go down and they don't want you to take. No. Because you know how many people don't listen, and when they go, they say, Jesus, my friend warned me. And I did not listen. They're so embarrassed that they just keep to themselves. They don't tell anybody. They're embarrassed because they never had plans. I know of somebody who left a very good job to go abroad for a spouse. And I think the individual said to me that they regret it to this very day. That was a worst decision made. Was in a good job. They should have just found a way to work out the relationship between that individual and the spouse. So I'm saying to you that when you hear that saying, it is not because people want you to suffer and your life will mash up. We have some things that we run with in life and on social media, and people believe it. It is unbelievable. It's like you can't believe that people really have this thinking. People really, yes, I know that you have a lot of people who are bad-minded. I know you have a lot of people who have malignant and malicious envy and jealousy within them. But when you hear people really cautioning you and they give you the reasons behind it, it's not necessarily coming from a bad place. So when they say the grass is not greener, it is not usually when you're trying to attain greatness, success. It's usually when you're making moves that it may be illicit, it may be unethical, it may be corrupt, it may be malevolent, it may be violent, it may be evil. And they're trying to say to you, especially where relationships are concerned, be careful, because the grass that you think is greener may not necessarily be that way. So sometimes they will say to you to try. If the person is narcissistic and abusive, and obviously there's no room where you say any change is going to happen, then you may be best to pull away in a situation like that. But when it's not a case like that, and you just want to up and leave because, let us say, the man is not making a whole lot of money, but he's doing his best with you, he's not stingy with you, he's not unkind to you, he's not abusive to you, you know, by the general token you would say is a good man. Don't just up and leave for a rich man. The grass, in a case like that, the grass is not greener. Maybe financially, it may look good, and not everybody when you say have money kind and helpful, you know. Not necessarily. Everyone that you see have money kind, they miser that thing up. Like in the back of their minds, they assume they're not going to die because they can't see death, and they feel they're young. You have to be very careful. Think on the saying. Don't just use it arbitrarily. Don't just use it willy-nilly, or don't just use it because it sounds good. People who say to you the grass is not, they genuinely mean it from the citadel of their hearts, not from the bottom. I have to say way down. Because we live in a world where people don't like to take telling, they don't want to take advice, they don't want to listen. Nobody can force it on you, you know. You know, you have the right to not to. But you see, always be prepared to deal with the consequences. You cannot negotiate with consequences, just as how you can negotiate with death. You know what I mean? When I say negotiate with death, death may stall for a moment. In the case of Isaiah and Hezekiah. When Isaiah, God gave him the word, him said, you know, get your house in order because today you shall die. And Hezekiah looked to God. And it maybe have been a testing. I said, God, not perfect, you know, but I've done your bidding. I've done, you know, good, basically, God. I've tried to be an honorable servant, God. Come on, remember me. And God said, all right. Before Isaiah could have leave the building, he said, go back and tell him I've added 15 more years. So you can stall death. He can't come back, but him going to visit you back, like the tax collector. It's a must. So you stall him for a little bit, but him coming back. He's coming back for you to take you 6'6", to take you to the undertakers. So it's the same thing. So you can't bargain with consequences. So you don't want to listen? Fine. The few people who probably they're coming from an ill place, a bad-minded place, you will never get away that. You have the margin of error. You know, some people say the 80-20 rule, the 20% in the negative, or some say 90-10, 10% in the negative. But for the most part, don't use it as it relates to your successes and your joys and your blisses. It's usually when you're not making a good move, when that is said to you. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lines, and you can follow me on Instagram.